Oh god, that lighting's horrible. Hey, Bella here. Sorry that the lighting in this sucks, but so I wanted to talk because I'm in a poopy spot, and somebody just told me not to keep it in, so, and they're right. So I wanted to talk about something really close for me. Depression sucks. I mean, I think every human being at some point in their lives deals with a form of it, you know? But I have dealt with it for a long time, and it has come and gone in some major waves. And I don't know why tonight in particular. My husband and I had a little fight or whatever, and I think being up late last night drinking and then sleeping half the day didn't help. That always throws me off. But there's this thing that I call it's me being floaty is what I call it, and it's basically when I'm feeling really out of it, when I'm upset about something, when something scares me, I often feel kind of like out of my body. It's not like the out of body experience like in the good sense or even in like the weird uncomfortable sense. It's more like I literally lose all control of myself. I feel like I'm kind of just I'm floating away, and there's no coming back, and it's a scary feeling. It's something I've dealt with for a long time, and it actually made me really nervous about going through childbirth. I know you all want to talk about that, but because I was really worried that that kind of pain or that kind of experience was going to make me do that, and the last thing I wanted to do was to not be really there. Like, I wanted to be in that moment, and when I'm floaty, I am not there. I'm everywhere else, and or nowhere. And so it's kind of happening right now while I sit here alone. So it's kind of why I'm making this, is just to kind of help myself stay here. So this is gonna be like a real talk moment, you guys, if you haven't caught on. Sorry if it's not the type of thing that you originally subscribed to my channel for, but it's life, and I think it's important to talk about. And I guess it's part of what I want to talk about, is how for the longest time I was one of those people where, like, my depression would either be a thing where I didn't talk about it and kept it to myself, or I made like a show of it. And that's something I'm not proud of, because, you know, I needed real help and other people need real help, and it's not necessarily the way to go about it. And that's not what I'm doing here. I'm talking to my friends, because honestly, you guys are my friends right now. Like, my husband, I have my family, I have friends, but most of them live far away. The people I honestly feel the closest to lately are all of you. So you're stuck with me for that. You know, you're where I vent to about games and about life. Deal with it. Get used to it. There'll probably be more of it. But I guess I wanted to reach out. Like, I'm not going to go into my whole story right now. Maybe someday I will really get into that. It's probably good for me to talk about anyway. But anybody who is out there, that whether it's just tonight or for a week or for years, no matter how big or small, whatever the reason is, if you're feeling down, it's okay. Sometimes it's almost good to feel down. It's the moment when it starts eating away at you and making everything else harder to do. When you start losing your passions, that's when you really gotta worry about it. But no matter which stage you're at, no matter what the reason is, don't be afraid to talk about it. Because sometimes just talking, not even about where you're at, but just talking, can make all the difference. Because I remember when I was dealing with some of my worst times if I was just going for a walk and a random person I don't know, would say hi. Somebody noticed me that didn't have to. Somebody took their time out of their day to actually say hi to me. I remember a time when a person did that. They said, "Hi, how are you?" And normally that's like a human thing to do, is we just say, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And you don't always actually mean how are you. You don't expect the person to sit down and tell you all about their day. But I said, I'm okay. And the person, I still don't know who the heck they are. The person actually just sat there and said, "Are you sure? Do you want to talk?" And I word vomited at them about a bunch of stuff. And they told me that they hope everything's going to be okay and that they're glad that I got to talk. And that's kind of it. We just kind of parted ways, but I got to let it out. That made all the difference to me. I will never know who that person is. I will probably never get to thank them beyond saying thank you in that moment. But honestly, that day probably helped me stay around. So I want all of you to know that, people give me this weird celebrity status and I don't get it. And sometimes I don't like it. And I want you all to understand that no matter how many people out there are following me, no matter how many people respond to me or don't, whether you like me or not, I'm here for you the same as you're always there for me. The fact that I'm able to do this and some people will watch, they'll probably send some support, and even if you don't watch it, even if you respond poorly to it, you still exist in my life, and that means something to me. And I want you all to know that if you are in a spot where you need somebody to talk to about anything, or just somebody to say, "Hey, I'm sending you a hug," I'm here. You are not alone. I know that even though right now I'm sitting in my house alone feeling like crap, I'm not alone. I know you're there. And I need you to know how much that means to me. So, I almost said sorry for the downer video, but I'm not, because it's life. Life happens, and I think it's important to talk about. And there's way too many topics in this world that we shy away from, and they're all the most important ones. We sit here and we go, abortion, rape, child loss in general, depression, anything related to any of those, mental health in general. These are all topics that we're like, we're not supposed to talk about them. That's taboo. We make fun of them almost. We crack jokes about them, or we just completely shy away. And yet, those are the ones we need to talk about the most, because honestly, they're some of the most common things that people deal with. Shouldn't we be realistic about it? Open our mouths, open our minds, talk. Admit that they exist, be there for each other, because you know what? If everybody in the world did that more, if we stopped looking at it as such a bad thing to talk about or to experience, people might not be dealing with it as horribly as they are. We might make a huge difference for each other, and I think that's really important, something to strive for. So if you are unsure sometimes of how to help somebody else, sometimes just talking about your story, letting people know that it's okay to be open about things that happen in your life, might make all the difference to somebody else. It might let them open up too. So keep that in mind, and I hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful evening. If nothing else, have a better night than me for me. And don't worry, I'll be okay. I won't be okay, but I'll be okay, if that makes sense. So, be kind to each other. I love every single one of you. This bunny is gonna go sad bounce. Probably eat some more pizza and watch a movie and go to bed. I love you.